Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do something a little bit different today. I'm not going to do a vlog or get ready with me or do whatever. I actually want to sit down and talk to you today about something a little bit more serious, well, a lot more serious. And it is a piece of the puzzle of what has created me today, and helped make me who I am, from all the struggles that I had. So basically today is going to be a story time. I'm going to talk to you guys about the time that I almost committed suicide, and I'm going to talk about the reasons behind it and what I have learned from that helps me get through my emotional and mental barriers through life that we all, I'm sure, have. Some people are able to handle it more than others, and I'm getting to a strong point that I am able to handle emotional differences and decisions and all of these, things that you have to do as an adult. I'm getting to a point where I can handle that a lot better. So I will tell you guys about the story, and hopefully this resonates with someone and it helps someone not feel alone in the world. So let's get into it. If you don't know me, I'm Ashley Morgan. I actually make lifestyle and plus size fashion videos here on YouTube, and I really enjoy actually my space here. So thank you so much for coming. And I wasn't always confident. I wasn't always the person that, knows things or knows what to wear or what to do and how to create a comfortable, peaceful home. Like, I wasn't always that person. Yeah, when I was in college and undergrad, I actually went to Sam Houston State University in Huntsville. It's about 45 minutes from where we lived in Houston. During that time, I was an accounting major. I work as an accountant now. I've been an accountant for almost 7 years, be 7 years in December. And I was an accounting major, and I just always knew that I was good at math. I wanted to be able to make money, like really good money. So I was like, okay, what can I do to make good money? I decided to become an accounting major because I was good at math and accountants make decent money. So that's what I did with that. It got to a point in my junior year that they actually had us to do what's called electives, and so I chose a marketing class as an elective, and that marketing class really switched up my whole, kind of disrupted my whole plan in my head. I was so excited in that class. I have never been as excited in a class period as I was in the marketing class. I was like sitting up at the front like, oh my god, oh my god. Like I've never been that in a classroom. So to do that in the marketing class, I knew I really enjoyed it. But I was at my last semester of my junior year, and so the problem with me, this is the introduction to my mental instability, I guess. The problem came with not understanding why I enjoyed that so much and didn't enjoy accounting so much, and didn't really know how to process that, didn't really know how to think about what I wanted to do for the rest of my life at the age of 21. Like, it was a lot. So we had a very not so, I liked my childhood. I liked how I grew up, and we went through a lot financially, like a lot. We went through a lot financially. So it was a lot of times we didn't have, it was times we had to, stay with family because we didn't have a home of our own. It was times that my mom had to take like jobs that paid like maybe $7 an hour, and she has a whole kid in high school. It's just, we just financially went through a lot. I think too much what we should have went through. Reason I was so focused on money was because of that. Like, I did not want to struggle. Like, we struggled during that time of our, me coming in from middle school into high school and graduating. We pretty much struggled. What's that, 6 years? Yeah, so we pretty much struggled for like, 6 years. And that's a long time for someone coming from middle school and into high school. It's pretty much, a bulk of your, I guess, adolescence, is that what it's called? But yeah, so we struggled a lot during that time. So my focus was on making money, having a stable life. I never thought to be happy. I never thought, what is it that you really want to do? I'm thinking, since I'm good at math, I really need to be doing accounting because that's what I want to do since I'm good at math. There was no like one to kind of help talk us through that because my mom didn't know either. So it's, we're learning together. So it wasn't that someone to have that conversation with us is like, okay, yeah, you're good at math, but what do you love to do? And I would have been like, I don't know, you know, and that would have been a question. But when I got into the marketing class, I felt a feeling that I had never felt before in school at all. And I thought I really liked school until I got into the marketing class. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. But for me to have spent so much time focusing on accounting, I guess the smarter choice would have been actually do what you love. But that's not how Ashley thought back then. Ashley had a timeline, honey. I had to be graduated. I had to be fully graduated from undergrad by 22, get my master's by 24, hopefully meet my husband in college, be married by 25. We go and travel for a year and a half, and then I have my first child at 27, have my second child at 29. Like, I had a timeline, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that has went through having a whole timeline of when you want to have something done. So the 3 years that I built in accounting, about to get ready to graduate from my accounting major and being successful in this whole goal that I had set for myself, this marketing class was a disruption to that, because it made me step back and look in my mind like, oh my God, I don't think I want to do this. And to me, it's detrimental because I've wasted 3 years of my life focusing on something that it's probably not for me. So basically, I didn't know how to have that conflict, and just that sparking conflict in my set plan, rather. You know, you think things are going to go a certain way, and when they're disrupted, it's like you don't know how to act, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to react, or, you know, pick things up and get them to where they need to be, and you don't know how to do that. I definitely didn't. I always had my mom. She was my backbone. I didn't have to have a backbone back then because I had her, you know, so I didn't have to do a whole heck of a lot of, you know, making my own decisions and growing up too fast. Like, you know, had a job or whatever, but, you know, who doesn't have a job in high school? But it's not to the level of what do you want to do for the rest of your life. It wasn't that. So the marketing class disrupted my plans. It disrupted my accounting whole White House picket fence plan, and I felt like then I was a failure. So I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I picked something that I don't like, and I can't not do it because I would have wasted 3 years of my life versus 7. We're not going to talk about that. It created my first time of truly being unhappy and feeling like it's my fault, and just not having confidence in picking up the pieces and making my life happen and being happy with my choice, you know? So during that time, like right after that class, I actually started to kind of view myself differently. I already had low self-esteem, so anything can knock me off the bandwagon. So I didn't have confidence, no self-esteem. I hated the way I looked. I didn't think any guy out there would actually love me in the way I looked. Like I knew I wasn't ugly, but I just didn't think anyone cared enough to love me in that way. And you know, I just, you know, I had daddy issues. It was like a whole thing. It kind of knocked me off in knowing what I wanted in life, and without structure, I'm not that good. I'm not good at all, which is why my house is like, it's not crystal clear clean, but it has structure, most of it, except for the office. It has structure, because I like structure. And so in areas where I don't have structure, it affects my mental. And my mom has, even though with the financial difficulties, we had some things going on, we had structure. You know, there was structure, there were rules, and that I needed to abide by, and I had a plan to follow. So not knowing what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, through a nail in my plans, I started having even more low self-esteem. I felt out of place with my friends because I felt like they knew what they wanted to do. They had confidence. They had love relationships. They started I could at least start seeing their lives kind of come together, and I felt out of place. I didn't feel worthy to have to be their friend. I felt like I was the awkward person standing in the corner, and they didn't treat me that way. I just felt that way. A lot of the problems I had back then were internal. Nobody put anything on me. These were mental things and thoughts that were going through my mind that made me feel like I was in such a dark place that I couldn't crawl out of, when really everybody looked at me and thought I was happy and go lucky and everything was cool. No one saw a reason for me to feel the way that I felt, and I was depressed. No, like not clinically depressed, like no, I didn't go to a doctor or anything, but you know when you're depressed, like you're just sad, you're not happy. I was just depressed for weeks, and so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know. I felt lonely. I didn't feel like I had love in the ways that I wanted it. I always had love for my mom, but when you don't have love in areas that you really desire, that you're not paying attention to what you have. You're paying attention to what you don't have. So I was, focusing on the negative all the time. And so all it did was constantly feed me being in a depressed moment. And it all started from just showing me something that I may have really wanted versus something that I was spending time on. And if anything, that should have been a relief, but it wasn't. It was detrimental to my spirit. Like, I'm a failure. I chose the wrong thing. I always wanted to make sure I was doing something right. And still to this day, I do that. Like, everything I do, I want to make sure it's the right thing to do. Even in my just everyday move. It's just something about making a mistake. I don't like making mistakes. Yeah. I always had to make sure I was doing something right. So this was a blow. My friends, love life was non-existent. I was fat, still am. Low self-esteem. Don't know what I'm going to do with my career. Don't know what I'm going to do with my life, and everything that I focused on from the time that I was young enough to have these ideas to the time that I am now pretty much was derailed. So it's just like gone up in the wind, and it's not funny as it is as I'm making it now, but like I said, a lot of the problems I was having was internal. These were pressures I was putting on myself. No one put those on me. No one said I had to be married by the time I was 25. No one said I had to have my first kid at 27. I had to have my second by the time I was 30. Just because my mom had me, her second child by the time she was 30, doesn't make that my plan. It's no one put these pressures on me but myself. I wanted my life to go a certain way, and when it wasn't going the way I wanted, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to have these conversations in my mind that everything was going to be okay. Everything is on God's time, and when I get there, it's going to be the perfect time. I didn't know how to do that. So I was very depressed for weeks, and it got to the point where I couldn't handle it. I was in my room. I was crying for like 15 minutes on the floor. And I was just like, I can't take this feeling of discomfort and darkness and depression. And it's just like, I allowed all the negative thoughts, like, you're worthless, you're stupid, you're fat, nobody's gonna love you, you're not gonna ever have anything in life. Can't believe you even thought you'd be able to do this. You're supposed to be the first person that graduate, and look at you, you're wasting your time, you're just stupid. It's all of these things that are going through my head for 3 weeks, all piled up on me that night. Like all at the same time. Like all of this is going through my head. You see how negative you started feeling when I started saying that? Picture that for weeks, and then piled up in the matter of like an hour. So I'm crying on the floor for like 15 minutes in my apartment. And I have a roommate. She's Christian as well, and we still keep in touch from time to time during this as of this day. We had an apartment to where it was like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and we shared the living quarters, the living room, kitchen, and dining. And then we were all both on the separate ends of the apartment. And so her best friend happened to be over there. Her best friend happened to be at our room, and they were in their room watching a movie, or in her room watching a movie. And so I was in my room, my door shut, crying my eyes out for like 15, 20 minutes. And just got to the point where I was like, I can't take this no more. I need to end it. And I had never had a suicidal thought prior to that. But all of the negative thoughts and feelings that I was feeling at the time was so overwhelming that I wanted to take my life. And the little bit that I just shared with you is nothing compared to what was going in my head. Like, I can't sit and reiterate everything, but I can tell you it was nothing. My mind was such in a dark spot, yo. And just from a class, it sounds minuscule. Don't use new words. It sounds small. But just from that thing, just tore my whole little life apart, and I didn't know how to process that. And so the dark, I can't get you to feel exactly how I was feeling, but just know it was dark. But I was on the floor crying for about 20 minutes, and I decided to end it all that night. So I was going to hang myself from my balcony. We were on the 4th floor of our apartment complex, and I was like, I could do it in my room and all this other stuff, but the ceilings were low, and I'm like, I'm practical. I'm like thinking all of this stuff through. So the ceiling's too low, it may break and you may still survive. No, we need to make sure this ends. And so I'm getting ready, tying the knot of this electrical extension cord, and it was a long one, and I'm tying that, and I'm crying and boohooing, and right at the point where I finished the knot, my roommate is knocking on the door. She's like, Ashley, you in there? And I'm crying. I didn't answer, and I'm sure she heard me crying. So she started knocking on the door again, like, hey, can I come in? And I never answered, but she ended up walking in. Thank God my door was unlocked. She ended up walking in, saw me crying on the floor, you know, and just got down on her knees. I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? What happened? What's wrong? And I was like, I just can't do it. I can't do this no more. I hate my life. I can't do this no more, you know. She, after a while, realized what I was doing, and she said, oh my God, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. Thank you so much. She had been feeling for 10 minutes to go and check on me. And that was probably how long it was taking me to get myself together to come to the decision to commit suicide. And she had been hearing in her heart, in her spirit, for about 10 minutes to come and check on me, and it got louder and louder and louder in her spirit the more time went on, until the point that she couldn't ignore it anymore. So she got up and she went to my room and she checked and saw that. So God has really protected me from day one. And so she called my mom. My mom came down, drove down, stayed with me for a little while, and then we left and went back to Houston until I was ready to go back. I think I was, you know, in a couple of days fine, but fine enough to go back, not fine. But during that time, I never got therapy. I never went to therapy. I never got help with being able to process these emotions and being able to process my life, you know, turning upside down. And I want to reiterate that these were internal issues. No one was bullying me. No one was physically abusing me. No one had left me to fend for myself at 16 or 21. The life wasn't down on me. I actually had a blessed life. I still had a mom. My dad might not have been around as much as I wanted him to then. He is now, thank God. But I still had a mom. I had a loving family. I had friends that loved me. I had friends that loved me. I had a family that was tight-knit. I had an education. Like, the outside of my life was blessed. All of the darkness that came from that spot was internal. All of it was internal. And we do this to ourselves every single day. We allow negative thoughts to creep into our minds and our spirits and disrupt our peace. I was peaceful when I was on the trail of accounting, and I knew everything was going to happen at a certain time. But when something came in and disrupted that peace, I didn't know how to handle it. And we're stronger than that. I was stronger than that than I could have been, but I didn't know how to be. And so I allowed nothing but darkness into my spirit, just constantly telling me I'm not worth it. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to be this. I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to be just like this person. My life is going to be trash. And just all of these negative things that you probably felt just in the few seconds that I'm saying that, constantly going through my mind every single minute of the day. And it was hard for me to even get up and do normal things like brush your teeth and wash your face and take a shower and freaking do your hair and just be happy, or spend time with friends and go eat. And honey, I like to eat. It was hard for me to do those things because I was so focused on all of these bad things. But my life wasn't bad. My mind was bad. My thoughts were bad. They were disrupting every single peaceful moment that I had in myself, that God, knowing that I'm living a blessed life. And it got me to the point where I was about to take that all away just because of my thoughts. And so I want to reiterate, not to downplay what everyone else is going through. Like, abusive relationships and abandoned parents and bullying and shaming and just other things that are they have way less control over than what I'm talking about. I do want to talk about mental health. This is a portion of that. Mental health can make you think things are so much worse than what they are. Like, it was just God was probably like, dang girl, I was just trying to show you some area that you was gonna be happy. And then I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know how to take that. And my mental health wasn't strong during then. And so therapy really helped. It was really helping me with my mental health now. I didn't get into therapy until, was it 2018? I didn't get into therapy until I was 28. You know, all of that time I could have been really learning how to process emotions and decisions in a way that will make me happy and encourage my life and build from there in the way God wants me to do. I didn't take advantage of the resource of therapy so that someone can help me talk me through these things. And so from that age, 21 to 27, honey, I'm crying off and on about every little thing. Like, I was not a crier when I was younger. And every little thing I cried about, I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle how to make decisions. I couldn't handle being upset. I couldn't handle being unhappy. I couldn't handle being rejected. I mean, I cried about everything because I did not know how to handle things happening to me out of my control that would disrupt my plan. So for those, 6 years, I was, not paying attention to my mental health. And it got to the point where I walked away from my job at 2018. It was after Mother's Day. I think it was a Monday after Mother's Day. I walked away from my job. I was crying so bad I had to leave. I left for lunch and I left my laptop. I left everything. I took my purse. I told my coworker that I had to go. She ended up telling my manager, and he was like, okay, I hope everything is fine. I'm like, I didn't plan on seeing them people again. And just talking with my mom and listening to Jesse Duplantis. Oh, thank you, Jesus. And listening to Jesse Duplantis, he really helped me. And then later on, Tony Evans and TD Jakes, and finally learning, okay, you need more help than what you are feeding into yourself. I wasn't feeding the word daily. I wasn't feeding any counseling. I wasn't feeding any messages. I wasn't doing anything to help build myself up internally. So those 6 years, I was doing nothing but being negative in my mind, and it was just taking over. And so thank God I never got to the point of where I tried to commit suicide again, but who wants to take that gamble? Who wants to take that gamble? Because thank God someone was there that time. Who says somebody's going to be there the next time? So my mom was worried about me for years because of, and especially living alone, because of those downfalls I would have. When I'd be up, but when I'd be down, life-threatening. And no one wants to see their baby go through that. So I got into Christian counseling, and they have been helping me ever since. They have an area called Talk Space as well, service. It's called Talk Space as well. And this way, through Talk Space and through this Christian counseling, it's called Faithful Counseling, I have been able to have counseling sessions via telephone, computer, text message, phone call. You don't have to be in someone's office. It's like new age counseling, and it's more at a discounted price. And thank God that has entered into my life. I had to do that in order to go back to work. Like, I had to sign up for counseling, and it has really helped me. Faithful Counseling has really helped me. This is not a sponsored video. This is just me telling you, we're getting into the holiday season where people are at their loneliest. Financial difficulties may set in, other things may approach you that makes you not understand how to handle it. So if you are having these problems with your mental health, I definitely encourage, if you're Christian, go to Faithful Counseling. If you're not, Talk Space. If you don't care, either or. Like, have someone to talk to you about what it is to navigate through this life. You can't do it by yourself. Talk to your family members, talk to your friends, let them know how you're feeling, because I didn't think, me and my mom didn't think about therapy when I tried to commit suicide. Otherwise, she probably would have enrolled me right there. I didn't think about it. You know, sometimes you may not have the thoughts of what can help you, but someone else does. And so definitely don't be afraid to share what it is that you're going through, how you're feeling every single day, because if my roommate was not there that day, I would not be here that day. And who knows who would have seen it on the... That is a horrible thing to wake up and see. Now that I go back and think about what I actually was going to do, that is a horrible way for all of those hundreds and thousands of students to have started their day. Getting out of their apartments and seeing me hanging from my balcony. That is a horrible way to start a morning. And I don't want to just think about everyone else, but yeah, I mean, like, oh my God, what would that have done with my mom? She would be broken. But I want to encourage you guys to get some help with your mental health. Even if it's not to the extreme of you feeling like you're going to commit suicide, you never know where your mental health is going to go if you don't have better control of what you allow to come into your mind. So Talkspace, the link is below in the description. Faithful Counseling, the link is below in the description. I hope you guys go in those areas and definitely seek out some help if you're having problems with your mental health. Please don't wait till it's too late. Hopefully the right person is seeing this. Do not wait till you feel like you need to take matters into your own hands. We're about to enter into the darker times where suicide rates skyrocket during the holidays, unfortunately. I definitely don't want you to feel that you're alone, because you're not alone. And my situation may not be yours. You may actually have had more external things happen to you that were out of your control. And I want to let you know that there is somebody out there that can help you through that. You do not have to do it by yourself if you're by yourself. And if you have family, get close to them. Like, I cannot reiterate how important it is to be around family if you're blessed with it, blessed with them. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I want to thank you for taking the time to hear my story. I still struggle with things every day, like in my mind. But it's gotten to the point where I have better control of allowing things to not fester and not allowing things to repeat itself. And, you know, every day I doubt myself. Every day I have to use the strength of the Lord to be like, no, boo, you're good. You're straight. Keep on the straight and narrow. And God has blessed me to be better. And not just because it's God, but I have sought the help to be better. I'm going to be praying for everyone that watched this tonight and it touches their heart. Maybe be praying for you. I did do a video of this before and I prayed on camera and the camera shut off. I just can't go through that again. Because I was deep in prayer, honey. I just can't go through that again. Reach out for help. If you know someone else, suggest this video and suggest help for them. Even if you don't suggest this video, suggest therapy for them so that they can get the help they need. Don't just be focused on yourself during this season. During the rest of this year, focus on others as well. Be helpful and, you know, really encourage the next person to be able to take their lives in their own hand and treasure their peace like it is nothing else, because peace is very important. And if you don't have it, you can get to the same point that I was when I was in college. So I pray that you guys, everyone that saw this video, hopefully it's helpful. Definitely come into the comments if you want more information. If you want more background to the story than what this camera is allowed to hold, definitely come into the comments and I will talk to you guys there. I love every single one of you. God does too, even if you don't know it, even if you're not